Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Book Report presented by the Millions. My name is Mike.
My name is Janet.
If you are alive at this time, you probably have been following the news about the release of Go Set a Watchman, which is the kind of sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. We're going to be talking about books that we wish had undiscovered sequels. And interestingly, all the ones we're going to be talking about feature Atticus Finch as a racist.
Atticus Finch shows up to one of Jay Gatsby's parties and is like, you know what I think?
My first one that I think I would personally like to see discovered by Harper Lee's agent or someone else, it doesn't matter, would be a sequel to A Christmas Story by Charles Dickens. But it would open with Tiny Tim dying, because, let's be honest, he didn't have that much longer. Scrooge realizes that he likes money more than the spirit of Christmas, because you can buy things with money, but with the sort of fellowship that comes with Christmas, you cannot exchange that for goods and services. He decides to fire all of his employees and just retire, sells off his business and his assets, and lives the rest of his life surrounded by beautiful women and, really just nice things, and dies with no regrets.
I think that's Scarface.
Oh my god, you're right. That is Scarface.
But the sequel I would like to see, which would actually right a great wrong, would be a sequel to Little Women. So here's what I want. You know, in the movie The Family Stone, have you seen it? Mm. Dermot Mulroney brings Sarah Jessica Parker home for Christmas to meet his family.
Mm.
She brings her sister Claire Danes, and they end up, switching. Her boyfriend falls in love with her sister, and she falls in love with his brother, and they all switch. And then by, the next Christmas, they're, two different couples of exes. So I want there to be, a March family Christmas where, Lori comes home with Amy. Did you marry Amy? Yeah, Amy. Joe comes home with Mr. Bear.
Okay, yeah.
And they're like, oh. And then they switch. And then Mr. Bear and Amy can, go to Germany, get out of our lives, and then Joe and Lori can be together finally because they belong together.
I'm thinking a sequel to Animal Farm. And in this one, all the farm animals are just named, communism and monarchy and fascism. And then, Orwell would just, sort of, break the fourth wall or whatever and periodically be like, that's bad. I thought it would be cool if there was, a turkey named, what did I say? Oh, yeah, liberal democracy, but with extensive safeguards for the poor would be his name. And then the turkey would come in and, solve everything. Basically just like an Animal Farm, but without the metaphors that I feel like his editors probably suggested in the draft that ended up published.
It was like Animal Farm if it were a middle school play.
Yes, exactly.
Kids just come on with, little signs and say, Bolshevism.
Like one of those old-timey editorial cartoons where it has, a snake and it's like, Mr. Lincoln, and then there's, a tree that's, the gold standard, and then it's all okay, we get what you're doing here.
I would like to see a sequel to Gone with the Wind.
Oh, yeah.
In which nobody puts up with Scarlett O'Hara's nonsense one bit. No one has the time of day for Scarlett O'Hara. So she just walks around being like, oh, Max, they need something. And everyone's just like, shh. If there was a sequel that took place during Reconstruction, that's probably what would be happening. Her waist would balloon to 19 inches, and she would, cry about it, and we'd be like, shut up.
I'm picturing, just like Go Set a Watchman, it's a sequel set 20 years after the action in Catcher in the Rye. And so, late 60s, early 70s. And at this time, Holden Caulfield is a successful advertising executive who's made a lot of money by selling things to, the hippie love generation. Specifically that cap, the cap he wears is, the red hunting cap.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he sells that, markets it to hippies, just becomes a millionaire. And then he's also, responsible for all these, catchphrases. And I think maybe the main one would be, that's phony. He basically learns it's basically better to just give up all your hopes and ideals and just sell out.
I would like there to be a sequel or a companion or a prequel or however you want to call it to the Harry Potter series written by another student at Hogwarts who's just like trying to get an education. Every year you go to school and you're just trying to do your work and like pass your owls, and it's all about Harry. Like, Harry fainted. Like, Harry's on fire. Somebody broke into the castle to try to kill Harry, and you're just like, this guy, like, why is he still here? Sarah Clarkson in the academically rigorous year of school.
Just like whole long scenes of her just like reading a textbook, you know?
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, I just heard a noise. I think Harry Potter probably just walked by under his invisibility cloak like a dick. Ghost at a Watchman should only be the beginning of us
absolutely. There's so many more
classic characters and destroying their legacies. Let's get everybody out of the closet and let's tear them to pieces.
There's so much money to be made and so many books to be ruined and
literature. Crime and Punishment where Raskolnikov just goes on a killing spree and has no regrets.
Yeah.
He just loves it. He like turns into Dexter and then he's just like killing all over Russia and being like,
I was sad about the first old lady, but once you get into it, though.
So if there are any sequels you would like discovered, tell us about it in the comments down below. Otherwise, we will see you next week. Thanks for watching. You'll never walk alone, Mike.
I'll never walk alone, Janet.
Where's the book about Jean Valjean battling syphilis? He was French. You're telling me he was like abstinent for 50 years?
Talk about Les Miserables.